You're a busy professional. You don't have time for fluff. You need strategies that work, and you need them fast. Welcome to Busy Pro Fast Wellness with me, your host, Alan Welsh. We're here to give you science-backed hacks and actionable tips to boost your focus, minimize friction, and maximize your results. Less time, more impact. It's time to get well, stay strong, and thrive. Let's get to it. Hello and welcome back to Busy Pro Fast Wellness. It has been ages since I've done a solo episode, so I'm really looking forward to getting back into that because, again, I've had a couple of people saying, yeah, they love the format, the short 10, 12-minute format. So we are back in the saddle for that one today. And today I'd like to talk about something that seems completely backwards, and it's the idea that freedom doesn't necessarily come from having more choices. Sometimes it comes from having fewer. Now that sounds a little odd because most of the time people spend their lives trying to create more options, having more opportunities and more flexibility, hence more freedom. But recently I was listening to an interview that featured David Epstein. He is the author of the new book, Inside the Box, How Constraints Make Us Better. And this interview got me thinking, what if one of the biggest causes of overwhelm isn't a lack of opportunity, but rather having too much opportunity and therefore choice? And what if the answer isn't adding more, but deliberately choosing less? As Confucius said, the man who chases two rabbits catches neither. Now think about modern life for a moment. We have access to more information than any generation in history. More books, more podcasts, more courses, more productivity systems, just more choices. And yet, many people seem more overwhelmed than ever. I see this in myself sometimes. I have podcast ideas, newsletter ideas, teaching ideas, website ideas, ideas for guests coming on the show. And at times, there are so many possibilities that the challenge isn't finding something new to do. The challenge is deciding what not to do. And every choice carries a hidden cost, because every yes requires 100 no's. And one of my former guests on the podcast, Scott Lynch from the Motivated Mind podcast, talks a lot about simplicity. And if you fancy checking out that interview with Scott, that was on 47 and 48, quite a long time ago, but a fantastic couple of interviews. So, one idea that really stayed with me was his focus on identifying the single most important task for the day. Not 10 tasks, not 20 tasks, one task. And if that gets done, the day is already a success. Everything else is a bonus. I absolutely love that because it removes the constant mental negotiation. What should I do now? Should I switch tasks? Am I working on the right thing? The decision has already been made. You made it in advance. And strangely enough, that limitation, it just creates freedom. And this idea reminds me also of my experience as a trumpet player. For several years, I played with a band here called Cavallo y Hugo Mas. And the music was fascinating. Rhythmically, it was extremely complex, but harmonically, it was surprisingly simple. Now, most people would assume that fewer harmonic possibilities would be more restrictive. In fact, the opposite happened. Because the framework was clear, the limitations were clear. I wasn't standing there wondering what to play. The boundaries gave me real focus. And within those boundaries, I found enormous creative freedom. The melodies came more easily. The improvisation felt more natural. The restrictions helped the creativity. They didn't hinder the creativity. They actually added something. And I think life often works the same way. Incidentally, if you want to check out the music of Cavallo y Hugo Mas, I've left a link in the show notes. So, this is the paradox. We tend to think more choices equals more freedom, but often more choices equals more decisions. More decisions equals more fatigue. More fatigue equals less action. And the result? Well, we become stuck. Not because we lack options, but because we have too many options. And that is the paradox. Sometimes the path to freedom is through limitation. So here's a simple challenge. Tonight before you finish work, write one thing down. Just one. The most important thing you want to complete tomorrow. Not 3 things, not 5 things, just one. And start with that task tomorrow, before checking email if possible, before the distractions, before the busy work. One meaningful target. Everything else becomes a bonus. Try that for a week and see what happens. So what you're really doing is you're reducing friction, you're removing distractions, you're conserving mental energy, and you're directing your focus towards what matters. It's not glamorous, but neither is most real progress. Small, consistent, focused. That's usually where the magic lives. And as busy professionals, we often spend years trying to expand our options. And there's nothing wrong with that. Curiosity is valuable. Taking risks is valuable. Exploring new opportunities is valuable. But eventually, there comes a point where progress requires commitment. A point where we stop collecting possibilities and start choosing priorities. Because freedom isn't always found in having every door open. Sometimes it's found in walking confidently through one. And as the late Irish comedian Dave Allen said, you can do anything, but not everything. So this week, try creating a little more freedom through a little less choice. Choose the important thing, commit to it, and see what happens. Because sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is eliminate the unnecessary. This is Busy Pro Fast Wellness, and if you enjoy this content, please like the show, comment, spread the word, and write a review. Please, that really helps the algorithms to find the show. Take care, stay focused, and goodbye for now.